Welcome back to Empowerment Radio. How to enter into a new chapter, whether it's the beginning of the year or a chapter that you decide, let's say it's June 15th with a clean slate. How can you let go of whatever you feel you want to find completion and resolution with in the most empowering way? So, this segment, I want to talk about the power, how to bring your power back. And I think there is something about these, habits that we are getting into, especially when we're dealing with challenges that are more power draining than the actual circumstances we are in. Because, yes, there are certainly situations where we do feel victimized or disempowered, or we have very few options. But how we deal with them is still making the difference on whether we feel empowered or not. And a lot of people notice that they actually let themselves a little go in the last year. They feel like, well, where I drained my power is by having really bad eating habits, or by just not working out anymore because I couldn't go to the gym, or by letting themselves go physically with the way they dress, the way they have their haircut, the way they have their environment. So there is something about that power drain when you notice I got into a bad habit. I feel like I let myself down. I feel like that I'm almost self sabotaging my confidence and my level of happiness with myself. Just see where you can now turn this around. And it's not about doing it perfect or feeling like it has to be all heroic and, you know, in a very hard way. You want to do it sustainable. It can be just that you start having a few more healthy meals a week, or going again out for a little walk, or actually rather than binging more shows on Netflix, reaching out to a friend because you have really kind of ignored those people that have been a big part in your life. It can be about cleaning up your environment. Danielle and I were cleaning up our basement during the holidays. And I have to say, it's not my favorite time to get rid of stuff and sort things through, which is, Danielle's greatest joy, but it was actually very gratifying. And if you see a basement or your bedroom or any of those things as an expression of your inner world, well, I guess my inner world was a little bit chaotic and cluttered, and certainly looks much better now that the basement is almost so beautiful you want to have a dinner party there. And for you, it may be another place that you could just clean up, or maybe there are some unresolved issues like bills you haven't paid, or maybe you have some things that you just feel like you have tolerated, and now that is something that's no longer okay. Those tolerations, the toaster that every day burns your bread and every day you have to scrape the burn off. Well, getting another toaster may be something that gives you power back. Or feeling like there are these, the light bulb that finally needs to be exchanged, or that, that outside garden that could be raked, or whatever you feel that gives you a sense of cleaning up, deleting what's no longer serving you, ending those things that you just barely tolerate, and committing this way to self-care and to a positive momentum, something that just gets you out of that maybe more stagnant energy from last year. And then, based on what you have been answering in those questions before in the segment, think about, okay, how can I define more who I want to be this year? I showed up in 2020, but how can I show up even more as a person that has learned and grown from those challenges? and not wanting to forget all those perks and all those insights you have gained. Don't just go back and say, well, let's just, go back and spend our Sunday afternoon in the mall, endlessly wandering around, buying things that you never need and ending up just in your basement. And then you have to declutter at some point. Let's stay in this mindset of being more content with what you have and being more focused on simplicity in life. Having your priorities still focused on that what brings you joy, the people around you, the little arts and crafts that you discovered is actually fun. Spending more time on maybe introspection with yourself, digging a little bit deeper in, even though now maybe there is a time soon when you can see your friends again or when you can go out and be distracted all over the place. Maybe you want to not forget how good it felt to be more closely connected and how it felt to actually have life slower and have that, freedom of fewer choices and the clarity to really know what you want. See this all just as a way for you to continue a momentum that started last year, that was based out of necessity, wasn't your choice. You had to show up and somehow made the best out of it. And you did. And so just really keep that and really feel like this is not a lost year, what happened. It's actually a year that shaped me, a year that made me look inside and realize what I'm capable of, a year that made me trust and believe in myself more, a year that was not my preference, but I realized I don't have to always have it my way. I can actually dig inside and I can find out that no matter what happens, I have the ability to make something positive out of it. That is something I think we really can take from that time. And if you want to, go even further than that. Maybe there is something about you having gained some trust in those that you love and care about. Trust in your family, trust in the random kindness of people that may have just shown up and brought groceries or ask if they can help you with something. Just really noticing that this also may have brought you closer to have a belief in the kindness of others. Or maybe you have a greater belief in life. And there is something that you just feel like that life is, again, not always showing up to our liking, but it has its way to help us to find the doors that are opening up when we don't expect them to open up, or to make those connections or bring us the things that we truly need. And that can even translate then also into the spiritual aspect and the belief in a higher power. So, what I find about this past year personally is that it really made me realize how important it is to focus on our emotions and to focus on where we let our mind and our emotions, and with that also our vibration, our frequency go. So many times we are wallowing in our negative emotions. And that may have, a good place and reason for it to be, but it's certainly not something that makes us grow or move forward or take charge. We can wallow in anxiety and just really beat the drum of this anxiety. Or then it goes into the exhaustion, and then it goes into that sense of sadness and depression. And that frequency in itself is a heavy weight that can really make us feel paralyzed and stuck. And so one of the things I really love to work with and have personally done a lot and also teach people is to change your vibration, change your emotions. And for that, you can just really go into that wealth of experiences within. And what you can learn is, and what you may have already learned is, at any given moment, there is a reason to go up the ladder of emotions, the ladder of emotional frequency from, let's say, feeling sad or down to feeling at least accepting or surrendering. And then you can go to that level of having some little appreciation for something or some looking forward to something else. It may be just for that little donut that is in your oven right now. And from there, you can get more a sense of hope. Maybe there is more positivity waiting for you. And then you can go maybe to find a little bit joy or humor. And what I'm saying is that practicing to be that, that artist with your emotions, that soloist that can actually play this whole emotional array more fluidly and doesn't let your external circumstances make you feel something, but choosing more from the inside how you want to think and how you want to feel about something. That is something a lot of people just naturally had to do. That's a part of the resilience. And that is something I think we continue and we have to continue to practice to do. So for this next 358 days, just make a practice out of choosing how you want to feel, choosing what vibration you want to bring into the day. What is your song of the day? What is that frequency that you feel like you want to thrive on and maybe also share with those around you? And today, that can be optimism, or it can be a sense of just gratitude for what happened and looking forward to making something even better for this next year. So we'll be right back, and we do a little inner work, a little meditation on creating a clean slate. So get a pillow, put your feet up, relax, and I'll be right back. Hi, Dr. Friedemann here. Thank you for tuning into my YouTube channel. If you're interested in learning more about fear and anxiety, here you'll find guided meditations, webinars, and interviews with some of the most renowned experts in the field of empowerment. Delve into the over 230 videos and more to come every week.